you very much. Yeah, so certainly with the meetings we've had so far, we've really looked at the core elements of WellSphere with regards to the core CRM compliance, document management, the fiduciary side of the system, and so forth. So what we can do today is really look at just the some of the accounting elements as you've asked for. We can also show you how our timesheet integrated timesheet system works with WellSphere. Um, Work in progress, if that's something which is of interest to you, which is where the timesheet data can go if you wanted to, and certainly the billing element. So the billing element can, and Jim will go into this in more detail, but the billing element can certainly work with standard fees, scheduled fees, normal product-based fees, profile fees, but also can work with the work in progress data that you're recording into your web system. So yeah, so I think that's where we'll go. I'm going to just quickly share a couple of slides with you because I'm not going to go through any of the slides we've done in the past in past meetings, but I think what we want to try and do today really is that is the product wheel that we looked at very last time. It's a very high level description of the modular based way that WellSphere hangs together with the CRM and the optional modules that you can integrate with. And I think from day we'll have a look into the time sheet work in progress system, and then we'll look into the accounting system on the side of that. So everything you're seeing right now is going to be, or you will see with the product, is going to be coming out of our cloud system in the UK. So I'm in Brisbane, Australia. So I'm going to be looking at some of the elements from here, and Jim is in the UK as we just talked. So that will be the system that he shows you through. So the two elements we're looking at today from our cloud platform will be the main WellSphere system. We also have an integrated sort of a financial element to the WellSphere environment called Wealth Desk. Primarily, that's where we do a lot of our bulk processing, so bulk, large volumes of fees, and some of our configuration elements are within that particular part of the product. So, Jim, we didn't really discuss this, but if I will just I'll take 5 minutes if you like, and we'll just have a look at maybe the work in progress and the timesheet element before I pass you over to accounting. Does that work with you?
Yeah, that's fine with me, mate.
Okay, great. So I'm looking in again. I'm coming in from Brisbane to the UK. We have full multi-factor authentication too, Alan. So I've bypassed that for the presentation, but obviously you can have an extra layer of security on top of where you're logging in from, which is great if you're looking, particularly if you're looking for taking the system on the road with you and accessing it from remote locations. What I'm going to do, so I'm not sure, Alan, if you've seen any of the videos that we've done, which we've shared with you on the basic elements of the system, but we can do a little bit of Q&A at the end if you need. But what I'm going to focus on really is what Conato is asked for. So I'm going to look really I'll start the process because I'm working from a dashboard on the system here. This is my personal dashboard down here. But within the entities that I've recently looked at down here, I've got a recent entities tile. If I select the entity down from this point of view down here, this is an entity that we're managing on the system that happens to be both an administered entity. So we're doing the corporate secretarial, we're doing all the administration of the entity, and we're also doing accounting for it so that every entity on our system can have its own individual general ledger with its own chart of accounts. And technically, any entity on the system can be a customer, which you're billing, and can also invoice in its own right. So there's a lot of different ways that you can implement WellSphere into your business, but typically with a CSP, a trust corporate TCSP kind of environment, the system will be integrated with all of your client ledgers, be it trust accounting, be it company accounting, corporate accounting, and also your own ledger. So you can have your own ledger running out of WellSphere, which is where we would typically do the invoicing from, sales ledger, and so forth down there. But one thing I will show you just while I'm in the dashboard, because I'm running a general ledger entity, if I scroll down my dashboard and I've got all my things like entity notes, all my compliance information, documents I can get from one single screen in the system. you see there I can also navigate to it. So if I'm actually doing accounting for it, I can get directly into the accounting system from a single click. Right. So I'm going to stop with the GL element of the system at that point because Jim will pick that up in a greater level of detail. What I'm going to show you from here is our timesheets. And the way that timesheets work in our system is that in order to record time against a customer or an entity, they need to be set up as a customer. In which case, when you're setting them up as a customer, you can set up a whole range of things. We actually call them matters, which are basically like lines of business. What services you're providing for the customer. So we have obviously a full structure when you're setting up your matters in the system, and there's a lot of information that you can optionally store against any of those matters. You can sort of set up default charge rate structures against matters. You can set time limits on matters. You can basically set up a whole range of different ways of mapping your accounting information from the matters if you're integrating back into your general ledger system, particularly with billing from the matter side of it. So there's a very, very deep structure in there. And every employee on your system has effectively a large number of charge rates that you can set up for that employee. And those particular charge rates can be also mapped against each one of these matters. So won't go into too much of that detail now because that's a big discussion, but just bear in mind when you're looking at these things, there's potentially, when you're setting this up, you can set a lot of mapping and parameters and rules against all the areas that you're billing against the system. So in entering time in our system, there's a number of ways of doing it. The fastest way really is the top level toolbar up there. When I click a little button up there, I get a timesheet, which will come up. And this is a very, very quick way of entering time into the system. Essentially down here, the main thing to focus on really is the customer. So these are all your customers that you have available to you from your billing entity. So if you've got different offices which have got different sets of customers, you can obviously set that structure up as well, because we call those master entities. And this could be your Singapore office. You could have one for your Swiss office, and so forth. And really from this level down, you can have your own subsets of customers, each with their own set of matters down here. And I just set those as drop downs down there. So if I just sort of start typing in information down there, I've got, type ahead searching when I'm finding stuff. So it's very quick to put data into the system. You can have sub matters if you want to do that. And then we have activities which are pretty much global to the system down there. So you can see down there that there's short list, because we can actually limit the activities that go against matters. So if you're not sure what your experience is currently with timesheet systems, they need to be fast and easy to use. So we've fine-tuned that to make that very, very quick to enter. And a lot of this information here is being brought in from the defaults. So by my coming into here and choosing that particular customer, choosing that matter, you can set up defaults to come through and say things like exactly what charge rate to use, whether or not you're going to be using standard costs or using the charge rates into the system, because we support both. You've got overwritability, which is subject to security, and then you've got narratives down here. So that's one way of entering time into the system. The other way of entering time into the system is via our calendar feature down here. And I'll just go into it simply and just go into the menu structure, because there are other ways of getting into this, but I'll go into my calendar. And down here, this will show me my timesheet. So this is for the employee that I'm currently logged in as, which is me over here, Mr. Supervisor. Down here, I've got the ability to, and these views down here, this is currently just showing me a work week. You can have that running as a day, as a month, as a quarter. They're all up to you as your own preference as to what you get in here. And these particular blocks of time are all time that have currently been entered into my timesheet down there, color coded to depict what status they're at, so that if I've just simply got a timesheet entry I've recorded, I'll see that in my case, I have a teal color line at the side there. But as I've got it into here, we have an approval structure so that when you've got time into the system, you can submit your timesheet for approval. And that gets then either edited, passed back to you if it's not approved by your designated approver, or approved, in which case it can go directly through to the work in progress ledger, if you like. So time in our system is recorded. You can report on it. You can report on things like time that's been entered versus time that's been approved versus time that's been put through to work in progress versus time that's been billed. You can do all that kind of productive reporting. So even if you're not using the system for billing, you can still get a lot of handy reports out of the system about accountability of time that's been entered in here. And I can also use this grid to also enter time into here. So if I sort of say this is marking out my standard workday, and this is all definable per employee down here. I can sort of say from on Tuesday between if I just click a time slice down there, you can see you can actually add the activity down there. I think it was a little bit quick when I clicked that, but if I just pick a timesheet in, like a slot within here, just close that down. If I just drag that from 9 a.m. through to 11, let go. Yeah, I get a timesheet which has got that time slice already flagged out for me. So I can sort of start putting the details in. I can use stopwatching if I want to. So if I want to start a timesheet entry off and go away and do some work, I've got some stopwatch functions at the side of the screen there where I can set the timer going and come back and stop the timer to collect the time. Okay, so time is entered that way. There's a number of other different ways you can put time in. We've got grids. Depends upon what you like to work with. A lot of our customers like the calendar because it's quite visual. They can see very quickly what's been set up for them, what they've done, what they haven't done down here, and the statuses and so forth. But we've also got grids, which again you can run from the grid. The approval function tends to work from the grid, where you've got an approver who'll go in. All my time is here to approve. I'll approve that, or I'll reject it and send it back to the employee for further editing, or I approve it so I can go through to work in progress. So, is there any questions on timesheets while I'm here?
No, feel free.
I
Cool.
have a question.
Yeah.
Is it possible to enter the timesheet in that relevant entity?
Timesheet in that relevant entity.
Yeah.
So when I'm putting time into the system, I'm also logging the entity that it belongs to.
Yeah.
That,
Like for example, like
yep.
yeah, this is quite often for us. For example, like when we draft the invoice, right? Normally we will be able to see how many hours have been charged to that entity or how many billable charges billed to that entity. Is there any screen will be able to see all that kind of information?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. So once the time is entered in the system, even if it's not posted, you can still run screen displays to show you your accumulated time either by employee or by entity. And within the entity, you can then say, I want to limit that to a specifically looking at a particular matter, because that matter could be a project. So if you just remember that the way we link the time to the entity, we link the time to the user, and then the matter. That's what we link the time to. So we can then report on any one of those different aspects. Yep.
Yep.
I'll show you that. I'll show you that in a moment. But essentially, when you're putting the time in, you're going through your timesheet. I've just done some work on this particular entity, and I record it. I can copy time as well. So if I'm doing a particular piece of work for an entity, I'm doing that over a number of days or a period of time. I can grab a timesheet entry, and if I've got it here, I can grab it. I can edit it, but I can also copy it, so I can duplicate things. So I might want to say I'm doing some compliance work against that entity for 4 days in a row. I can copy it, so it just goes bang, 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 and then I can edit it. Maybe the second day I did an hour and a half versus 2 hours on the first day. I've got annual leave between Monday and the next week and a half, so I can copy that straight across just by using the copy function.
So which means we need to generate the report, right?
Yeah, we've got reports and we've got screens. So we've got a number of ways of getting data out of our system. We've got basically reports. We've got query screens where you can actually sort of just load a grid up and pull data into that grid, which is great because you can. I think we looked at the query function last time we looked at the system, and you can export that data straight out of it. So yeah, so you can literally do that. I mean, the screen reports. I mean, to give you an idea. So I'm in my timesheet right now. I'm just going to go back to my work in progress menu and go into a WIP inquiry down there. Okay. And again, because this is completely designed to have lots of different WIP entities and billing entities in here, but you might only have one entity, your own business entity that you're actually recording all your client data against, your work in progress, your bills against. You choose your basically your master entity up here, and these are all your customers, and this is all the time that's been accumulated against them. So this is by customer. So you see, I'll grab a customer. And I can see underneath there all the time it's been recorded against them down here. So, whether or not the time has been approved or not. So this is just a different level of inquiry, but I'm looking at now from an entity perspective, what's been entered here. So I'm not even that report sheet. I'm just at a screen inquiry. Just whilst I'm in this screen, all these grids themselves have complete export functions too. So if you like a screen, you like the data that's underneath it, with these screens here, you can actually drop that straight out to Excel, Word, XML for further analysis if you want to, if you don't want to go into any reports. Likewise, I'm going to skip around a little bit, and I'm just going to quickly go into reporting. This is basically going to quickly load our report generator. I'm just conscious of the time here as well on the accounting side of it. I'm going to go into my timesheet work in progress reports. So we're growing this all the time. This is basically our standard listing of reports. And again, just to remind you, within our reporting system, we have a report writer, so you can add to these yourselves as well within here. But you can see here, for example, I've got a report there. So this is a report by employee. This is a report by matter across the system. This is a work in progress report. So it's going to say which entity, which work in progress ledger you're looking at, your Swiss office, your Singapore office, whatever office is running the work in progress ledger. You pick your work in progress ledger, and then you can get all that information again in a report. That's summary, employee detailed. So basically an employee breakdown. Or actually report by project. I'll show you a couple of those. And so I'll pick the employee productivity report down here. I'll just choose it. I'll just keep to the same entity we're looking at, the same entity. And I will go back a little bit in time. A little bit more data in there for you. These basically, when you're running reports in our system, the report itself, as you're building reports up, you will set things like parameters. So the parameter could be, in this case, we're looking at which WIP ledger you're looking to report on, what's the start date and the end date. The report might say, I want to look at start date, finish date, and I want to look at particular customers, and I want to look at particular matters. They will appear as parameters, which you just then use your drop downs or your selectors to choose that. So when you run those up, and you'll get some data. So this is basically looking at something by an employee. So we looked at a moment ago, we're looking at the data from an entity perspective. Now we're looking at from an employee perspective. So all these employees, exactly what are their available hours? So for the particular period in time that we chose, what's their available hours? How much of that was charged? What's their chargeable percentage? Effectively the charged percentage on that, charged amount, billed amount, charge versus billed. So this is a kind of productivity report that you can basically imagine there from an employee perspective. Yeah. So did I answer I mean, it's a very long-winded way of answering your question, but so we would get the data either from a screen inquiry or going into the system and so looking at some of the reports that you can also bring the information into.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Great. Jim, does anything you want to add onto WIP while I'm in here before I hand over to you?
No, mate. Yeah, I'm happy with what you covered in that WIP.
Okay. Any other questions from anybody?
Yeah.
Nope. All good.
Okay. Okay. Great.
Yeah, I
Great.
think it's good.
Great. Jim, do you want to grab Jim's going to log into this, basically share his system, which is looking at the same data that I'm looking at, but more from a general ledger perspective and billing perspective.
Right. Okay. You need to stop your share first, Brett, and I can share mine.
Yeah. Okay. Over to you, mate.
Okay. You should now have my screen on. What I'm going to do, bear with me a second. I'm just going to reorganize my screen a little bit. And I'll just turn my video off. Okay, so you can see my screen now. Can everybody see? I'm in WealthSphere on the same entity that Brett was on, ABC Investment Trust. Yeah,
Gotcha.
okay. Yep. Right, okay, so we're going to have a look at the accounting. It's the same database that I'm logged into, the same data, only I'm as a different user, as Jay Reddy. So I'll have different security to Brett. So if we just start, going to go in and have a look at the general ledger. So to go into accounting, yeah, you see we've got all the modules down the side, as Brett probably explained to you. Yeah, we're just interested in the accounting, and from here we can get to our general ledger inquiry. We can do a view of the transactions waiting to be posted, do bank reconciliations, auto accruals, auto posting, sales tax return. So we can do all those from here. If I just start, we'll go into the general ledger. I'm just trying to get these screens out of the way. Yeah, so this is basically looking at a general ledger. I'm on the entity ABC Investments, and I'm looking at year 2025. I'm going to go back a year because I've got a little bit more data in. So you can see from here, I can select all the financial years right back to 1999. Yeah, so you've got unlimited financial years. So if I just select 2024, I'm now looking at the 2024 year. And we can see we're looking at the ledger by account. So it's basically showing it as sort of in a gap view where you've got your assets, your liabilities, your capital, your company income, and your expenditure. And they're just the main account structures. Yeah. And we're showing that by account, and these are the balances on each of those accounts. And then if we want, we can actually go to sub-account view, which gives us a lot more information. It actually splits these accounts down. So now we're looking at account 100. If I go down to here, 120, I can see all my bank accounts there. Yeah. So 100, I can see all my assets, and so on, right down to your income and expenditure. And for each of those accounts, if you just click on the account, and it'll show you the transactions underneath it. And these are all the individual transactions. So you can actually see the date, the account, the batch reference. You can open up these columns if you want. The base currency, the base amount. Yeah. If it's a forex amount, the account, the forex account, and the forex value. Okay, so that's basically looking at just a general ledger. You could also, because it's a multi-client accounting system, you've got lots of other ledgers on here. So if I go to, let's see, I'm going to go to another ledger, protected investments. I'm going to protected investments. There's not many financial years on that. So that's basically just, you can flick backwards and forwards between ledgers as easily as that. And as I showed, this is where you select the periods, but you've also got the ability for sub-periods as well. So in this particular ledger, I've got 12 sub-periods. Yes. So if I want to just have a look at February, I can see what's in February. and it just basically limits your view. Yes, okay. So I'm going to go back to ABC. And you see, you just have to type in a few characters of the entity you want to view. You see, I've got two entities. I've got ABC Fund, Extreme Return, and ABC Investment Trust Limited. Yeah, so basically, this is how we can actually view it. But also, as well as sub-account, you can view by batch. And this basically shows all the batches. Let me just go back to 2024. Yeah. And this shows all the batches. So if you want to look at a particular batch, you can see what the batch is, who posted the batch, yeah, the date it was posted, yeah. And if you just click on the batch, it will give you the details of the debit and credits on that particular batch. And you can reverse a batch directly from here if you wish to reverse a batch. So that's basically viewing by batch, and then obviously you've got your trial balance. You can view your trial balance. Report, you can get at reports quite easily from the system as well. So we've got reports here. If I wanted to report on a trial balance, I'll just click on trial balance, and there's my trial balance report. Yeah. And if you want to get it into a reasonable format into Excel or something like that, you can use the export button and just export it into Excel. And then that'll put it in a reasonable format into Excel for you. Yeah, which is it's fairly easy to do that. But you do have, as Brett mentioned earlier on all of these grids, you have an export function, which gives you basically the raw data. So if I go from here and I say from the grid, actually on the grid now. If I say export into Excel, I'll export into Excel. And you see that just gives you the raw data without any formatting or anything. And all of the grids within the system will operate in that way. So basically, yeah, that's the accounting and drill down into the accounting. As far as transactions are concerned, yeah. Where I make sure I'm right here. Yes. Yeah, so if I want to add a new transaction, I just click on the plus button here. The plus button brings us into this screen, yeah. And we'll say what type of transaction we want. If it's just a straightforward journal, we just type in journal. We can use a template, yeah. So what you can actually do is predefine journal templates, yeah. That'll save you all the keying in. So if I just select this template, and then it basically brings in the transactions. You can go in, you can edit the values in there, yeah, and you can put a reference in it, yeah. That's just that message is just to tell me, do I want to keep the same date, yeah. So basically now it's put the reference in it, yeah. So I'll just close this one down. I'll just add another and show you another one. Right. So basically, journal, as well as journal, you've got a cash transaction, which is basically you select the bank account, and then, if you're just keying in from a bank statement, just select the bank account at the top and put all your income and expense transactions in here, and it will actually do the contra entry on the bank account. Yeah, so that'll do that for you. Yeah. Hang on. We got another posting option, which is basically into client. Now, this allows you to post across your clients in your database. So, for example, if you've got a trust and you want to basically distribute to a number of underlying companies, yeah, you do your debit and credit in here in the top, yeah, and that will basically allow you then to go into the bottom and you can do select a number of different clients and do the debits and credits on all of those. And it'll basically saves you having to go from one ledger, do a journal, go to the other client, do a journal, go to the next client, do another journal, and so on. you do it all in one screen, and it will reorganize that posting and make sure it balances before you can post it. So you can't basically overpost what's going to come out of your source account. So also we've got auto accruals. This is where we can set up an auto accrual, and what I'll basically do, I'll just go into transactions just to show you some that have already been set up. Yep. Yeah. So basically, these are basically this is like an auto accrual. Yeah. And if I go into counting auto accruals, you can see the auto accruals that have actually been set up. So when you set up an auto accrual, it'll appear in here, and you can come in here to post it. You set up the date you want it to accrue at, and the system will remember that date and can warn you when an accrual is due to be posted. And then basically just come in here and basically reverse that accrual out. So that's basically your auto accrual. And that deals with a single accrual where basically you want to accrue something on a fixed date. If you have an accrual where you want to accrue it over a given time, for example, if you've got a $12,000 invoice, excuse me, and you want to accrue it $1,000 a month, basically you'll just create your normal invoice and select the revenue account to accrued income. And then what you will do is do what we call an auto posting. And if I go into auto postings, these are some of the auto postings that's already on the system. Yeah. And if I go into here, you can see I've got an auto posting here that I just set up the other day, and it finishes after 4 repeats. So basically, if I just go in and edit that and show you how it works. So the auto posting, you'll basically do your normal debit and credit, yeah? And then you give it a schedule. So if you want a schedule, and I'll say I want this schedule to be like quarterly, yeah, and I want it to finish after 4 quarters, and then I click on generate schedule, yeah, and that generates the schedule for you. And then these, same as the auto posting, when you're ready to do it, you can be warned by the system to post it, and then you click on the post, and that posts that element of that schedule, and then that one will show flagged as posted, and then your next one will be available for you to post. Yeah, so that's basically some of the transactions. Go back to accounting again, ledger. Yeah. Yeah, so that's basically showing you've got your cash, your interclient, your auto accruals. Obviously, there's an element of the system where you can import transactions, which will be a separate screen where you've got go through sort of like an approval system. So that's yeah, and I said the reports. What I was going to do as well, actually, if I just go into view by sub account, as well as getting reports out, you can actually filter the grids as well, and you can import sections of the grids. So, for example, if I want to, let's say I just want to have a look at bank accounts, and I know my bank accounts are 120. So if I click on 120, yeah, and then I can go to my reports, and I can say selected account, or I can say selected sub account. So if I say selected sub account, it'll give me all the transactions on this National Westminster Bank. But if I say selected account, it'll give me all the transactions on all the 120 range. So I'll go to selected accounts. It takes a moment for it to load. And then there's the accounts. And then once again, if I want to go and export it to Excel, and there's your bank accounts all in a formatted Excel spreadsheet. Okay. Right. So I think that covers all I need. Yeah, you've also, as Greg mentioned earlier on, you've got all these filters on here. So if I just wanted to filter the account, so let's say I just wanted to see my bank accounts, I would just go into here and say, just show me the 120 accounts. Yeah. And then go back and select all. Yeah. So you've got all your filters and your searches, your exports. So you can manipulate these grids. You can actually create like pivot tables and accounts as well. So it's very like having the data in Excel already for you. So okay, that's where are we? We've done that. So periods, yeah. Sales ledger, invoicing. Um, what were we covering, Brett? Were we covering assets as well?
Yes, please.
Yeah, assets as well.
Sorry, James, I got one question on the sub account here.
Yeah.
For your sub account, 100 is the debtor, right? Is 264 is total sum. Is there any list out the breakdown of these 264? For example, client A is 100, client B is 200. Any AR trade receivable aging report for that one? For the account code 100 here.
But for the account 100, you mean
100, yeah. Is that
a breakdown? You mean a
the
breakdown
sub account? Yeah, the sub account of 100
Yeah.
under the
Well,
debtor one.
Yeah, what we can do is go to general ledger. This gives you everything. This gives you the entire entity and a breakdown of all the sub accounts on that entity. Yeah, so we go from there, each of the main accounts, each of the sub accounts, yeah, all the transactions, running totals, subtotals, they're all there for that entity. You can see those. Let's go a bit further. You see them from there. Yeah. Does that answer your question?
How about the sub account code?
The sub account code, like here, if I see this is the sub account code. That's 120050. Yeah.
Yep.
And that gives you the details there. So we got 120060. That gives you that there. So if you want to get directly at that, you go to 120060. Yeah. And run the report and run it by selected sub accounts. And that just gives you the details of that one sub account and the all the transactions. Yeah, the base balance, the base amount, base balance, any forex amounts, yeah, totals and running totals. Okay.
Yeah. Maybe can we generate a report of the sub account of 110, the creditors?
110.
Yeah, 110 sub account. Yeah.
The last one.
Sub account. The last one, creditors.
Accounts receivable. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm with you. Yeah. So yeah, you've got your accounts receivable. There's not much on there, but yeah, it's the same thing. If I just go into that account, and I can actually run a report for that account. But what you'll probably want is a more detailed thing, which will come from the sales ledger. Yeah. So when I go into the sales ledger, you'll be able to see all your creditors. You can see all the aging, how much is being paid, how much is due. That's all. This is just basically sort of a general ledger view of things. It doesn't actually drill down into like a sub ledger, like the sales ledger. Okay.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Assets. We're going to have a look at assets, weren't we? Yeah. Assets. ABC2. Right. So under assets, we've got three main categories. We've got asset investments, which is where you record all your quoted, unquoted investments, all your stock market trades, and so on. We've got a term deposits where you can actually set up deposits into a bank account and over a fixed term, and it calculate the interest and post the interest for you. And then we've got other assets, which is basically everything else, which might be boats, fine arts, yeah, properties, yeah, all the sort of non-quoted type of general assets, yeah. Okay, so if we go into assets, you go into asset investments, and we'll select a year. Right, so these basically shows I'm in investment, so this basically shows my equities and stocks in here. If I go on to one which I know I've got something posted on, so I've got purchase of 15 units, purchase of 10 units, and so basically you'll have your purchase rate, your cost, your profit and loss, and so on. So that's basically how you will actually see that data. Add in transactions. If we click on add in a transaction, first of all, you'll select a bank account. The control account and the profit and loss account are all configured. These are all part of the general configuration. For each asset class that you're using, you will have a cost up account. You may have a profit and loss account. For bonds, you may have an interest income account, yeah, and so on. So basically, you'll have a group of control accounts or defaults where the posting will actually go to. And then from there, you've got your transactions. So you've got bonds, cash dividends, disposals, interest income, purchase of stocks, dividend stock splits. I'll show you a typical one. If I go to a purchase, you can basically see we've got purchase. We're on the Microsoft, yeah. These are the accounts. That's the transaction. It's automatically picking the dates. You've got a couple of references in here, yeah. If you'll have your market prices fed in, and that will be stored within the system. So you'll just click on Get Market Prices, and it basically brings in the market prices from the market price table, and then you can put in the units, and then basically it will actually work out all that for you, and it'll even create a short description that's going to go with the posting. Yeah, so 10 Microsoft purchased at 250 $255 US per unit. Yeah, so basically that's as simple as that to put in transactions, and you've got lots of different ones. You got your disposals. Disposals is slightly different. When you set up an investment, you need to define on the master investment what type of profit method is going to be used for this stock, and basically you got FIFO, LIFO, and standard ones, and average. So this one's FIFO. So obviously what it's going to do, because I'm going into disposal, it's going to bring up the first one for me to select. So if I wanted to, it's got 400 here, yeah. So if I wanted 500, it'd take those 400 and it'd take 100 off the next one down in it. So it's first in, first out. Yep. So we got that for FIFO, LIFO, and then average. You just select which one. Yeah. Average. You don't need to select what it'll calculate the average. I think for the spot trade where you want the tax lot type of thing, where you want to select the most tax efficient to dispose on, you can go in and you can select which one you want to dispose on first. Yeah. Okay. Right. So that's looking at that. So while we're in portfolio, if I just go in, and there's a few things we can look at in the reporting side of it. If I go into assets, let's have a look. That's it. Portfolio valuation. That's the one I wanted to show. And the portfolio valuation. Yeah, that did. 99. Submit that. That'll give you a portfolio valuation report. Obviously, you'll need to have your exchange rates in, and you'll need to have the market value of your stocks. And basically, it'll take the latest market value, and it'll take your book cost, and it'll calculate your gain and loss for you. And that's your valuation report. Once again, that can go into Excel or PDF or anything else. That's basically looking at the asset that's asset investments. If we go into let's have a look, ABC. I think we might have to go to another entity. Just bear with me a sec when I find for one for other
Go
assets.
into all good, mate. All good.
All good. Okay. Oops. All right. Yeah, lovely. Yeah. Okay, so we can see everything that we've got for all good here. So if I go into let's say boats, I'm sure there'll be a boat in there, won't there, Brett? Yeah. So this basically your other assets. You've got vehicles, boats. You can set up as many as these classes of assets as you wish. Yeah. And these are classes that I've got here: collectibles, wine. You select all those type. Yeah. And you've got all the details of the purchase price and any disposal details. If it's been disposed of, you've got depreciation. You got valuations, any documents you want to attach to the asset, insurance details, and so on. So that basically gives you everything from your assets. Yeah, so that's basically it. If you want to add another asset in there, you got all good. Added an asset class reporting. Yeah, it's fine wine. Let's call it liquid. Yeah. And then from here, you just basically go in and enter your purchase details and so on. So it's as simple as that to add assets. You can add pictures to your assets as well. So that's assets, deposits.
And assets can run as an individual isolated asset ledger, or you can integrate it to a GL.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
on an entity by entity level. A lot of our customers, might be doing accounting for only half of their asset ledgers that they're looking after. So that way you can choose which ones you want to integrate to your GL.
Yeah.
Okay. I think just
Sorry.
a quick question on the assets. We have our regulator who wants to have a list of assets that we have for every entity, just to understand how much we manage for client, being obviously deposit, shares, boats, properties, and stuff. Then we can have a report for that for every client. Right? If we maintain full accounting and assets, we can have a report that way.
Yeah, basically, these are a few reports there on it. You've got the asset investment listing, and then you've got the asset transaction listing. So if you go into here, we can select an entity. We can select as at date, and we got either a summary or a detailed report, and then we submit that, and basically that will give you the breakdown of all the assets on an entity by entity basis, and we can provide you with a report to list by asset who holds them as well. Yeah.
Okay. So in fact, it's a full accounting. It's a full securities accounting module that is included in the accounting, right?
Yeah, basically, what you do is if I go into settings, assets, from here you'll define your asset classes, and then you define your asset mappings. That's the key one. So if I just go into the asset mapping here, and basically these are the assets that are mapped. Yeah, so here we've got the assets that are mapped. And then you map those accounts to your general ledger. So basically, I've got my cost account, any charge accounts, income, profit realized, profit and loss, and so on. So yeah, it's fully integrated. You can run it separately, as Brett says. You can just run it as an asset register, but you can actually run it so it integrates with the ledger, and then basically when you add an asset, it synchronizes it to the general ledger. So if you do a purchase, it's going to go your bank account, and then your or broker account, and then your asset cost account will be debited. Yeah.
So we have, Alan, we have two different ways that we market the product. One is a very simple accounting, which is just purely the multi-entity GL, or full accounting. So full accounting includes the asset ledger and the billing and the WIP.
Interesting. Okay, good.
Just
a quick question before Suling. I saw before that you have the price of the shares at that moment, so you can connect, say, to, I don't know, Google or whatever, FX or whatever price for securities. You can connect the system to a system like that.
Yeah, you can basically. There is a module that's automations. Yeah. And under automations, basically, you've got things. You've got different types of imports that you can set up. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't have much. So you see, like I've got DigiHub Live Scan, some sub verification set up on there.
Okay.
So you can under asset management, you can basically have whatever feeds you want. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And accounting, obviously, under accounting, you probably have your currency feed. So you'd have your currency feed under accounting, and your price feed under assets. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
James, I have a question. Do you have bank feed function?
Do I have what? Sorry, time.
Bank feed.
Bank feed. So sorry. Yeah. I mean, we can work. This is what the automations is for. Basically, if you give us the details of your bank feed, we will actually plug it into here for you. Yeah, and we can actually feed that those accounts in directly into the ledger for you. Yeah. As I mentioned earlier on, there are import routines to import directly. You don't have to key in all of these transactions in your general ledger. You can import them and verify them along the way. Okay.
And last question for me regarding accounting. For example, like if our activities, which is recurring, for example, like concept fee, is the system able to count the deferred income automatically?
Yes.
Yeah. It doesn't do it automatically. You'd have to set up an auto posting routine. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you set up an auto posting routine, and once you set up the auto posting routine, the system can remind you that there is an auto. Today you must reverse this, or today you must post this transaction. Yeah, so you set up scheduled postings for all those sort of types of activities. Okay, does that answer your question? Okay.
And James, for the auto posting one, I think it's a fixed amount, right? That means the accountant need to calculate the amount by themselves, because it will vary, depends on the day. Some of the month may have 30 days, some of the month may have 31 days. So the accountant need to do it manually, right? Even though you have the auto post.
You have the auto posting, but what it basically does is you can set the auto posting, so that basically, if I go into auto postings, in here, each of those you can go in and you can actually edit the values. It says you're having to do the whole posting again, but if you calculate it in its 31 days or 30 days, you would actually recalculate that yourself.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Okay.
Right. Okay.
James, I have a question about the asset just now. Is the asset linked with accounting, or Because we have a client that do not give us the accounting services, but we still need to record the asset for them.
Yeah.
So is this asset like a separate from the accounting? We can manually also record them for the recording purpose.
Yeah, as Brett mentioned earlier on, the asset module, you can synchronize it to your general ledger, or you can have it so it isn't synchronized. So basically, you can set up an entity on the system, yeah, and just record assets. That's all you need to do. Even if you're not doing accounting for that entity, you can just record all the assets that belong to that entity. So you can do both. You can either have it linked to a ledger or not linked to a ledger.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, right. Just one. I think I've finished on here. What I want to do is basically, I think we wanted to.
You got 1 minute. 1 minute to do billing.
Oh, thanks for that. Thanks for that. Okay, billing. Yeah. Oh wow, that's a big call. That. Yeah.
Well, we're a little bit flexible, Alan and guys. And do you how much time do you have? How much time do you need to really do it?
We have time. I think we have time.
Let's go.
Okay, then let's try and do it then. Okay, then. So I'm actually in the sales ledger now, and from here I've got the sales ledger inquiry, yeah, which I can just basically have a look. If I just go to another entity, that might have a little bit more of a sales ledger in it, yeah. And basically you can see all the sales ledger here. So you basically got your let's go back a year or so. Yeah. So we've got something that's actually billed. So we got an opening balance. We got the amount billed, the amount outstanding, any unallocated receipts. Hang on. I clicked on a report there. I'll just get rid of that report. Yeah. You got any unallocated receipts, and then you've got the basic balance. So that's basically looking at your sales ledger. Yeah. So before I go further on the sales ledger, I want to just look at how things are set up. So basically, you've got your master entities. I've got a lot of master entities on here. Yeah. And this is basically you can have multiple master entities. So even if you've got a client that you do the billing on behalf of, you can set that client up as a master entity, and it can have its own sales ledger, and basically you can bill and have their standard invoice format. So you can provide that sort of service, and basically you decide if it's going to be a WIP entity, and that will allow you to log time against it. So that's just the master entities. Customers, more important than customers. When you set up a customer, you can add a profile to the customer. So what a profile is, the system allows you to define predefined products or lines of business, yeah? And basically, you can. It might be easier if I just show you on. Bear with me a second. I'll just show you. Go into financials, sales ledger, products. I think there's more.
Just ask you at this time, do you currently invoice out of all of your 5 offices, or do you do sort of consolidated billing from a central location?
No, we do it from each office is doing its own billing.
Its own billing.
Okay.
We are not yet centralized that way, but
yeah, right. So you'd have 5 master entities then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They would run all their own sales ledgers. Yeah. And those master entities would be in different currencies or all in the same currency?
No, they are unfortunately. They are in same reporting currency. Maybe Lydia, you want to elaborate a little bit more here?
Right. Okay, then.
They are in different currency.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
And just like Hong Kong, maybe we will have US dollar and Hong Kong dollar. We have 2 currency.
Yeah, it doesn't matter about that. When you set your ledgers up, you can configure your ledgers. Basically, you'll have a base currency, a system-based currency. Yeah. Then
Yeah.
for a ledger, you set up a ledger, you'll set it up as that currency. But even though you set it up at that currency, you can actually change currency of separate accounts. For example, if you've got a debtor's account in Hong Kong dollars, and you want another debtor's account in US dollars, you can set that up, and you can map your US invoices to a US dollar debtor's account. So you've got that sort of flexibility. Yeah. So going back to billing, yeah, these are basically some of the products. Yeah. So we can actually set up a product, yeah, and basically we say what it is, provisional legal services, and the unit price, yeah. And these are basically the products. And once you've got those products set up, then what you can actually do is to set up templates. And then you see here, I've got a template here, and I've got a template which basically it's an annual fee sort of template. So I've just called it annual fee. Yeah, then we can set up the template, what the product is. Yeah, yeah. The fee account. When you actually configure these products, and you map what fee account it's going to go to. Yeah, what revenue account it's going to go to. Yeah, and the accounts receivable is always mapped at the customer level, so each customer can go out, have their own accounts receivable section within the general ledger. Yeah. So basically, you've got these products here and I've put a couple of products into a template. Yeah. So this is just taking you to how we can actually configure the system. So just bear with me. I'm getting some notifications of updates there. Right. So basically, if we go back to our customers, yeah, these are all our customers, and these are the ones we say we've got a profile assigned. Yeah. So we got basically a little bit of details about what's being invoiced, what's outstanding, what the credit limit is, all those details on the customer. So if I go in and I'll just edit a customer here. And we can see we've got details of the customer, all the tax details, security details. Yeah. Brett probably mentioned security. It's very tight in the accounting system. You can have security at a ledger level. You can have security down to the customer level. You can even have a security down to a sub-account level. For example, if you've got an account in your ledger, such as salaries, and you want to lock that out so only super users can access that, you can set the security on it. Okay, so that's basically just details of a customer. And then what we've got here is a profile here. We can assign a profile to a customer. Now, profiles are a very powerful thing on the system. If I go to a profile, and I'll just open this profile here, yeah. What I've done, I've added the annual fee template to this customer. And it's basically pulled in all the products that I want to bill this customer and how often I want to bill them. So basically, it starts off with your first fee, and then basically when you bill it, it will automatically roll it over until the next fee date. Yeah. So it's a schedule. It's a billing schedule, and that will you can store against every customer. So you'll never miss any billing on a customer if you set up all your schedules. And how that works when we come to going into invoicing. In invoicing, go to 2024. Yeah. In invoicing, we can see all the invoices that have been generated and all the details of the invoices. What's been on each invoices is shown below. Yeah, there's not a lot in there, but basically they're all single lines. So if I want to add an invoice, I just click on add invoice and I can go in here and I can basically select my customer from here, any customer I want. Yeah. And it'll select the customer's currency. I select his fee layout. Yeah. You can have as many fee layouts as you wish, and you can link fee layouts to customers. You can add a cover note to it. And then from here, you just basically add your invoice lines. So from here, you've got manual fee, ad valorem product, with time fee, with disbursement fee. Yeah. So if I go to product, yeah, what I can basically do there is select my products. Yeah. So I've got quarterly accounting fee, and it'll bring in all the details of that product. Yeah. And basically, you can just change those values if you wish. You can drill down to the actual details from here and get your product details from there. Yeah. So you can get right down to products. Yeah. And you can just do an ad hoc fee if you want. Just basically select a fee line, type in a narrative, and type in an amount. But where the power comes in the billing system is your profile invoice. So if I go to add a profile invoice, so what I can do, I select a template. So I'll say annual fee. Yeah, I'll say annual fee, and it shows nothing at the moment. But if I go and I'll say, okay, all my US dollar customers, I want to bill the annual fee. So if you click on the annual fee for US dollars, hang on one sec. Ad hoc fees. Oh. Let me just. Just bear with me a second, because I had the profile invoice set up just to demonstrate to you this morning. Invoice layout. Got the date wrong. I need to just select the date. Right, I'm just going to go into the latest financial year and just try adding the profile invoice from the latest financial year. There we go. Yeah, I was in the previous year, and I set some demonstration data up. Yeah, what it basically does, it'll look at the date of the invoice. Yeah, and then it'll look at the date a fee was due. Yeah, and then basically you'll just select those. You just select those fees, and it'll generate those fees for you. So the idea is that you set the schedule, and then you go to a date, select your date you want to invoice, and it'll look at schedules and say, okay, which clients need to be invoiced and what do they need to be invoiced. So, for example, that Sullivan Trust, yeah, was due to be invoiced on the 30th of the 6th, yeah. So, well, if I click on here, you can see what's going to be invoiced. It's going to be basically $2,500. Yes. So basically, it's going to go. Let's open it up a bit. You can see a BVI package, an annual registration fee. So these are standard products. Yeah, that are stored against that customer, and basically the schedule stored against that customer, and it will come in here and it will allow you to select them. Now, the other thing is when you create these templates, you can have multiple lines on the templates. Yeah. So you can create one big template and assign it to your customers, and then go into your customer. And basically, if you click on the include invoice, yeah, it'll include it. Yeah. If you don't want to include it on the invoice, you'll select that off. So you don't have to bill every single item on that template. You got total flexibility on that template. Yeah. And when the other thing is worth mentioning as well, and I'll just close this down just a second. I just want to go back to the customer. I'm just going to go back to your customer. The other thing is when you assign in the profile to a customer, yeah, you've got an option for unique here. So if we've got an annual registration fee, it's 500, yeah, and that's coming directly from the product. And basically, this client, you've done a special deal with them that they only pay 450. You can click on the unique flag here and go directly in there and type in 450. Now that's stored against that profile for that client. So as well as having the ability to have these fixed scheduled billing, you can actually have the facility to customize each individual customer profile. Okay. And that's basically going into customers. You got invoicing, credit notes. Yeah. Don't think there's much in credit notes on this data. And then you've got basically your receipts. Yeah. And from here, you've just basically add a receipt. You select the customer. Yeah, and basically select the amount and just add the receipt. Once you add that receipt, basically it'll appear in here on all the invoices that belong to that customer on this side. And you just pay the receipt, you just drag and drop it onto the invoice. And it's as simple as that to process receipts. Yeah.
You got any aged analysis, any age debtors reports you can run, Jim?
Let's have a look. Yeah, let's have a look. Let's go into reporting.
You got any questions while we're doing this on billing? Because it's a big area.
Yeah, you got age debtors. Right, there's a sample of your age debtors report. You know, you've got your billing process profiles. That gives you details of each customer's billing profile. You got your credit notes, customer statement. If you want a customer statement, basically, you go in. It's just going to load that up. You've got basically do a customer statement. Quality retail use.
Obviously, we support billing via email out of those grids. You can bulk email fees, bulk email statements.
Yeah. So you've got fee listing, invoice listing. You got sales ledger summary, allocations, or like unallocated cash. So all the reports are there for you basically. And these reports basically you select the master entity. So you'll have 5 master entities. So you'll select the master entity and it'll show all the customers for that master entity. Yeah, these are all the customers for that master entity. Yeah. You can show outstanding or show all and then just submit it. And it's very easy to run these basically. These are all your reports. These you can put your own logos and things like that in these reports. And as Brett mentioned earlier, you've got a report designer where you can actually go in and you can alter the format of those reports. I think that basically covers the sales ledger and the accounting. I think that's all I need to get covered.
I think we should just have maybe a little bit of Q&A before we close the meeting, guys, if that works with you.
Yeah, of course.
I'll ask the first question.
One quick
how does it
question,
look?
sorry. Yeah. For example, like the intercompany billing, if we issue the invoice from entity A, is there any chance that the journal will post it to entity B because they are intercompany. So is there any auto posting for
Yes,
both
there
entity
is.
A and B?
Yes, there is. Basically, when you basically set up the fee lines, yeah, you basically select the revenue account, yeah.
Yes.
But you can also select the expense account on the entity that you're raising the bill for. And if you're doing the accounting ledger for that entity, it'll post to their receivables, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it basically posts what it basically does. If the account that you've mapped to exists on that entity, it'll post that account. If not, it'll post to the default payable account. So I said receivables, though I meant payables. Yeah.
Yeah. So that means in entity A, it will be under the receivable, and in the entity B, it will be in the payable side, right?
That's right. That's absolutely correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That let me just go into the maintenance area. I'll just show you that.
So from your side, Alan, I mean, this is a very obviously quite a high level presentation, but how does it look in terms of what you're trying to achieve?
Well, I think from my point of view, and it's really from a high level, it looks good. I quite like what I saw today, to be honest. Seems to be quite easy to use it, but maybe easy is not the right word, but it would say it's quite complete. It covers, I would say, all our needs. I don't know, Lydia, Karen, do you have anything here that you would like to add? But from what I see, it covers our need. It's intra-company, intercompany, securities accounting or not. So we can have the asset. We can, if we maintain the accounts, is there. Automation seems to be there as well. So obviously we have to see how it works. But for me, from an accounting point of view, we are using Viewpoint. So I think it's, I would say, somewhere pretty similar. But maybe a little bit easier to see from what I see here. Don't know what you think, Lydia. You're working on the accounting all the time.
Lydia,
Yes.
that what you mentioned earlier on, I've just put it on screen here. You can see when you set up the fee line, yeah, just to show you, you basically got your post to account flags, and basically you could configure the default accounts. But if you've got an integrated client ledger, so if the customer's ledger is integrated, basically you can select the expense account, yeah, in there, and then that will actually post to that expense account on the customer's ledger. Yeah.
In the setting here, how can I know that this expense account will go through to which entity?
Well, that is depend. Yeah, this is basically the fee line. So when you're selecting the fee, you're selecting the entity. Yeah. Yeah. So basically, how it actually works is, and this is quite important about configuring your accounts. Yeah. If you have a pretty standard expense account, so let's have a look. Let's have a look. Let's have a look what we got.
Yeah, Lydia, behind the scenes, when company A is invoicing company B, company B is linked to that transaction. So it will go to company B's accounts. And what Jim is showing you there is which accounts it goes to in company B's ledger. Apart from the payables, which expense account is it going to use? That's all that mapping there does.
That's the expense account. Yeah, the other side of it is going to go into your payables account. Yeah. Yeah, so that helps. That creates the double entry on your customer's ledger. Yeah.
And the linkage is based on the code when we do the setting, right? Or during the mapping?
Well, when you set up your fee line, this is where you basically map your expense accounts for different lines. Yeah. Yeah. So basically, this is like a professional fee. So where would the professional fees go in your customer ledger? It would go into professional fee expenses or something like that. Yeah. And
Oh.
then basically what it will do, it goes in the background and it looks for that account on your customer ledger. Now, if that account doesn't exist, yeah, it will post to the default expense account. Yeah. So yeah, so you have defaults even on your customer ledgers. You'll have a default income account, default expense account, default bank account, and so on. It will go to the wherever the defaults are for that customer if that account doesn't exist. Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Yep.
Okay. I think that's it from my side, Brett.
Yeah. Yeah. Conrado, any questions your side?
So for my end, no, I'm not the subject expert for this part.
So
Nothing much.
so you will
How did
trust
the,
what I
um,
say.
I think one of the things that you first mentioned when we first made contact with you as a Viewpoint customer is that apart from Viewpoint having an end of life and all that, it was also your latency issues you had with your offices running connected to your service. This would be hosted wherever you need it to be hosted. So this could be hosted in Singapore. This could be hosted with us in the UK. But as you can see that, I'm connected to this from Australia, and there's very little latency, if at all, between myself here and the UK. So the system works very, very fast. Apart from being easy to use, it's a very fast system, which is ideal for your multi-office scenario.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is something which is quite important because today we have quite a bit of latency, which I think Conrado need to spend quite a bit of time to try to set up to optimize all of this. So I think it's something that we are definitely looking at. Karen, on the billing, on the timesheet, or on the accounting, do you have any comment?
No, I think it's fine.
Okay. I also saw, that's an additional question. I saw that you have a kind of found admin system accounting. It's not that we have many, but we have a few that we may need to put on it. So I don't know if it's included in the package or not, or if something.
No, it's
different.
a separate module. We could line up a separate session for that if you like. It's essentially when we designed, it's called NavSphere. And what it does, it basically it's a module that connects into the system, so it integrates into the system, so it connects to your same central entities. So all your compliance for your fund holders is all handled through the compliance module. All the accounting is done through the accounting system you've just looked at. What the difference is when you license in the NavSphere system is that you then have access to setting up funds. You set up the funds, you set up the fund rules, you set up your issues, you set up your redemptions, and you've got a reporting element. It's designed very much as a small to medium entry level fund system. It's at the moment it's quite a new part of the product.
Okay. Well, we don't need a demo now because obviously somewhere I would say we are entering, so we may have requests for it, but it would fit in the sense that it's small to medium. It's nothing that fancy. We don't do daily NAV or something with 1,000 or 5,000 investor. We are more in the 10 to 20 investors with a quarterly or even annually, semi-annually reporting, mostly kind of private equity investment or properties investment. So something on a Canada base, simpler, but we have obviously in Singapore VCCs that are coming famous. So we may have a few in the future. So I found interesting that technically it's possible to integrate with the system here. So we can obviously do the administration and the accounting if required. So that's a little bit where I wanted to know.
Yeah. Well, it's ideal for the small. It's for the small funds. Ideal.
Okay. Well, I think we can have a.
And the assets that the fund holds, you can make use of the asset ledger. which can then obviously integrate into the accounting ledger to do your NAV calculations. Just so you've got an idea of how the structure works.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. I think for me, I'm good. I don't know, guys, do you have any other questions?
I have a question. It's not about the billing and timesheet. I just want to ask again about the digital onboarding. This WellSphere is you do not have your own digital onboarding. We have to integrate with external software. I just want to confirm on this one.
Yeah. So with digital onboarding, what we can do is we can provide you with a web integrated link to a provider. Our preferred provider is a company called SumSub, which provide a number of different services which you can subscribe to, right from their entry level, which is just doing all of your AML scanning, sanctionless scanning, right through to digital ID verification, ID screening verification, transaction monitoring if you want it. It's quite a big system, and you basically just subscribe to various tiers of it. Where the way we work with it is that you would put a new prospect entity into our system, and our system will literally pick up that data and port it directly to SumSub, and they will then take up the route. So if you're looking at getting your customers, for example, to actually do the digital verification themselves, they can do that. So they'll get a link and an email, and they can verify all their documents as an onboarding process. That is either then passed or it fails, and all the information then comes back into WellSphere and forms part of your audit trail for that take-on process. That's for the digital ID verification. You can obviously then extend that to have customizable questionnaires where you can be doing your client questionnaires within web forms. You can actually use that as part of your risk calculation because each of the questions can have risk weighting within them. And that information itself
This is also under SumSub, is it?
Correct. Yeah.
These are all under SumSub. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
The questionnaire were under
yeah.
the questionnaire were under WellSphere, right? Or SumSub. The
questionnaire is under
send-
SumSub. Questionnaire is under SumSub. It's all user definable. What SumSub do a lot of things that we do, which you don't need to subscribe to. So SumSub have a system whereby when you're doing online verifications of passport IDs and that sort of thing, they can then send you reminders that passports are going to expire. They do quite a few things that we do anyway, so you don't need to subscribe to everything that SumSub does. So the bits that our customers tend to look at with the SumSub side is the AML screening. So all your sanctionless scanning, your media scanning, adverse media scanning, they do all that. And more recently, the questionnaire side of it, because the questionnaire side of people are going away from the PDF forms that they would send a customer to fill in, and they would bring that form back and they would manually transcribe all that information into a system. With the questionnaires, you can bring that information back into WellSphere. So it's just two things. It just removes a lot of the overhead from your side to your customers, tightens up that whole audit trail linkage on the way through. But as I say, you can start small. You can start just with the AML scanning side of it.
Okay.
But at
Right,
the
something
end, go on, Alan.
No, go on.
Yeah, for the overnight screening, just in case, we can also like integrate another third party, like another provider. So in case like we get this from SumSub, like the identity verification, but the overnight screening, the continuous screening.
Yeah.
We
I
can
believe
also
I believe
get it
so. I
from another
believe so,
provider.
Conrado. You can actually bring your own screener to that environment because they use
WarCheck.
No. The opposite. Well, they can. So what they do is they actually work with a third party, the Comply Advantage. They work with Comply Advantage. That's their preferred vendor, but it's a third party application. It's part of their subscription, but it's a third party. They don't do the actual sanction scanning themselves. So they would pass that data out, bring it back in, and then report it back to us. So it's one point of contact that you would have. But they can also support bring your own. So what you would need to do is just advise us of what you'd like to use. If you don't want to use Comply Advantage, which ones you want to
Okay.
use, and I can give you a confirmation of whether they can support it. I understand they can support pretty much most of the vendors that are out there on the KYC scanning element.
Yeah. So this we're going to fall with the same integration fee, the one that you mentioned in your email.
Yeah,
You know,
what
the
we
annual
do there
maintenance
is
fee.
we just you just basically say exactly what you want us to integrate, which elements, because you may not want questionnaires, you may want questionnaires, you may just want to go with AML, not AML, and we work you out a pricing on all just which elements you're doing.
Okay. Mhm.
Okay.
And yeah, just one last thing for me. Do you also integrate with the e-signature? You know, in case we want to do like digital signing for the documents directly from WebSphere, or
What we do there
is
is
it possible?
we just make use of the APIs that the digital signature providers are doing, such as, you know, DocuSign, those sorts of things. So the documents themselves we can pass out through DocuSign. If you're happy for that to go out onto the net as that, then we can support it.
Uh-huh. Okay.
What is your do you have a favored digital signatory provider?
Now
Yeah.
currently we're using Acrobat Sign.
Right. Okay.
Mhm. Yep. So nothing much from my end, actually. So the rest of the questions I've already brought up during our previous call. So
Hey, I have
Nathaniel.
some
Okay.
questions regarding the training. Are you going to send someone to train us?
I was waiting for you to jump in there, Jim. We can. What our normal route is that we do majority of this online through one-to-one training. That is a complete turnaround to what we used to do. So pre-COVID, every major implementation we did, we would send people on aeroplanes, which we do miss, to be honest. But the world seems to have moved on from that. It is possible. It's certainly nothing we would say no to, but our preferred option, both from a time usage and also a cost reduction to yourselves, would be to do it online. Yeah, it's possible.
And we do have lots of videos as well, training videos that we can provide. And the help system points towards a lot of videos as well. So yeah, there's plenty of resources, but if we must get on an aeroplane, we will.
We also like Singapore.
Yeah, we do. We do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think
Actually,
I
we
see.
can, the key person can go to Singapore and then have a intensive training, right?
Oh, all right then.
But Brett, it's possible also for us to have this trial access, right, in the platform, so that we can have the feel of
Yeah,
how
so
the platform works.
so what we can do is we can provide you with some defined sessions, and we will shadow you through the application. So there'll be somebody there just walking you through it. What we're doing more and more though is that we're doing more of these sessions where you can subscribe for a period of time. So you might want to subscribe for 6 months, particularly if you're going to do a data migration, which you want us to help you through. We can work on that sort of thing as well. So it really comes down to the flavor you want to do. Historically, we had minimum contract periods, and it's a reasonably big risk for you to take on that. So we appreciate that situation. So our preferred mechanism would be to take you through a couple of sessions online. As I say, they're shadowed because someone is actually watching you and giving you a hand holding. So we have a defined period of time when we do that. And if you'd like us to set you up a complete test system for a period of time, we can do that, but it would be on a commercial basis.
Okay. I think for this one, yeah, we're going to discuss it internally, and the same like together with the commercials that you've sent previously,
Yeah.
then definitely we will get back to you.
Yeah. Great. So we can
How long
assist you.
does it
Obviously, the training is really important, but obviously the data migration is important. So if you've got
Yeah.
a serious amount of data you want to migrate, we can work with you on that.
Well, yeah, we have a serious amount of
Yep.
data. I think we have been with Viewpoint for how many years? 7 years. We have for 6, 7 offices on it. Obviously speaking, that will be something.
Yeah, there's a lot of data.
Yeah.
What do you think the timeline if we start a project with migration and being operational? Is it 6 months, a year? What?
6 months alarm would be our estimate, and I think there's certain elements in that which are the main drivers behind a critical path, and one big one in there is just we would provide you with a whole series. This is the data migration end. We would supply you with a whole series of data migration templates. And obviously we need those populated, and that can take time. People are busy. That is usually a quite a big part of the critical path. But if we get things back to us reasonably quickly, a 6 month for the size of your scale of your business, that I understand, a 6 month period would be achievable.
Okay. And you have done the Viewpoint more than one time, right?
We've never done Viewpoint, but what we do is we provide you with templates that are standard and linked to our migration procedures. And those templates themselves, if you populate those templates, then it doesn't matter if you're migrating. We've done a lot of 5 series migrations, to be honest, but the process is exactly the same. So with 5 series, we just provide the same templates. We obviously assist you through that process. We don't just throw the templates at you and we wait. We don't wait. We work through those templates with you. But essentially, those templates themselves form the data. The templates are great because it gives you an audit trail between your current closing point of a system or at a particular point in time. You've got a templates, which are like an interim stage, and then we import that template. So it's from an audit trail point of view, it's a great option.
Okay. Gives you the opportunity for data cleansing as well.
Yeah, good point. Yep.
Hey, how about the accounting data? Is it also be able to migrate?
Yeah, we'd migrate balances. Yeah.
Migrate balances.
Yeah. So you'd end up with just an opening balance on our system. Yeah. But I think with the billing though, we can migrate all the open items in the billing system. Yeah.
Yeah, because you'll need to have those as open items.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just want to understand about the template. Is this template like an Excel sheet? So we need to fill it in manually?
Yeah.
Or is it like a mapping based like
it is a mapping based.
It's a mapping. Okay, it's a mapping. It's not the actual info. Okay.
Within the Excel, you've got all the mandatory fields, you've got all the optional fields. You'll get a feel for the whole structure when you see that. That's the standard, most simplest way of doing it. We can also we can provide you with temporary SQL tables, which are not our main core system tables, but we provide you with temporary tables, and you can populate those tables directly if that works better for you. The templates are better because they provide a better audit trail, to be honest.
Yep,
Sure. It depends upon your preferred route.
Yeah, and if you just keep updating the templates, we can have 2 or 3 passes at the migration. Yeah, we can migrate, and then you can go away, adjust the templates, adjust the data in the templates, and we can do another migration. Yeah, so we can just basically keep on migrating until you're happy the data's okay, and then we just push it to live.
Okay. And during this migration, as far as I understand, we can do the trial as well from the platform, right? So that we can see the data coming in, then we can see how.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what you do. We find, Conrado, that the only way people can get a good handle on the system is looking at their own data in that system. If we provide you with a trial system with demo data in it, demo data is never clean. And it's not representative of your business. So we find that customers get a better route to evaluating using their own data.
Yep. Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Excellent. Thank you very much for your time. Where would you like to go from here, guys? What would you like to do now? You need to discuss this internally.
Yeah, I think we need to discuss it internally, and then obviously speaking, we will have to
try the demo.
Well, if we need, maybe we need a further demo, and then at some stage we will take a decision. I think we are not that far from it. We just need to understand a little bit where we go and where we are. But I think once we have that, I think we can certainly at some stage we will proceed. So we are evaluating. To be honest, we are also evaluating other platforms. So you are one of them.
Good. You need to do that. Absolutely. Yeah, very important.
No, absolutely. We are also looking at some others, and we obviously some are simpler, some are I don't want to say more complex, but I think you are one of the most complete. So that's a little bit what we like. It's kind of integrated, and that's a little bit what we are looking for. Yeah. Otherwise, we need to integrate various vendors and through various API, and it's not necessarily the best way to go. So that's why we kind of like WorldSphere as of today. So I think leave it with us. Corrado will get back to you the next couple of weeks, certainly, either for a further demo or or whatever we need. And if any question we have, we will get back to you.
Excellent.
Okay.
Thank you so much for your time, everybody.
Thank you so much. Thank you, James.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take good care.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye.
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 Bye. Okay, teams, let's